What is up, everybody? Welcome to the channel here for another review of Gods of the Arena. We're already on episode 3. Man, I'm going to have this done by the weekend. But this is episode 3 entitled Paterfamilias. I hope I'm saying that correctly, but I think it translates to head of the family. So with that being said, in this episode, we got the head of the family, the return of Titus Quintus. Now, he's been mentioned. His name has been mentioned in the first 2 episodes. So we finally get his appearance, his arrival. And we also deal with the spread, or excuse me, words has spread about the intimate delights of House Spartacus and the consequences of those delights having been felt by Gannicus, Melita, and Enemeus. And we get those delights revisited again in this episode. And also, Crixus receives his test. So yeah, we're going to be talking about those things and some other things, but those are the main focus of this review that I felt was the main thing in this episode. So we're going to discuss that. So, but before we do that, if you're new to the channel, we always give the score before we get into the meat and potatoes of the episode. So the scoring system for the channel, if you're new, is 0 to 5, 0 being trash and 5 being a masterpiece. Now, guys, I gave this one a 3 out of 5. I thought this was a good episode. I think it was quite not that much, but a little bit of a step down from the first 2 episodes, but still a solid episode. And so with the score out of the way, let's get into it. So, like I said, Titus, the head of the family, has returned, and he is coming in hot. I mean, he comes in while Titus is getting a round 2. He's intertwined with Lucretia and Gaia. Like I said, they're going for round 2. I mean, we got wine being involved. You know, you pouring the wine on the Tig-O biddies and drinking them off of Gaia. I mean, it's about to go down. And Quintus just comes in like a thief, like a thief in the night, just comes in and puts a kibosh to that whole thing. And he wants words with Quintus like now. And what we learn is the reason for him being there is he had been corresponding with Salonius. Like Salonius has been keeping him abreast of everything that Quintus has been getting involved in, because Salonius, being a good friend and knowing Quintus, where this could lead, he had to reach out to Pops. And I don't think he thought, and he even said it in the episode, Salonius didn't think that, Titus would come back to Capua. He just thought that through their correspondence, he would maybe give him insight and then give him advice, like things he would tell that he would share with Salonius. Like Salonius would get the information and share with Quintus to keep his ass out of trouble. But like I said, he didn't think Pops would come and blow up the spot. But yes, he's come home, and like I said, he's not thrilled about how the house is run and everything. And so right then and there, you could definitely see the dysfunction in the relationship between father and son. I mean, Titus even knows. I mean, to the point where he points out that Quintus never took to the life of a simple Lanista. His thoughts and his visions were always to the horizon, because he wanted some things bigger for himself, more ambitious. He wanted, he just wanted it all. Like I said, I talked about this before. He wants to be like maybe a politician, a senator, triumphs. He wants it all. But the simple life of a Lanista is not the life for him. And so with Titus coming in, and I really enjoyed the actor who plays him. I mean, he's got gravitas to his voice, when he comes in, and he's turning their world upside down. And I like that. He's shaking things up. And so one of the things he does is he sets up a meeting between Tullius and Vettius, because he wants to smooth this out. His whole thing is, my son overreached. He's trying to do too much. And he even points it out, like, Quintus is like, well, it wasn't that, things weren't as bad as Salonius was saying. And he's like, well, your face says different. So like Titus wants to smooth things out and basically, look, my son's overstepped. He was punching above his weight. How can I make things right? So during this meeting, when it's about to start, of course, Quintus, like I said, man, at times acts like a fucking child. He's going back. He talks shit about Vettius being young and all this stuff, but he acts just like him. And so these two are going barking back and forth at each other to the point where, like, Tullius is like, I ain't like telling Vedius to chill out, and then to the point where Titus tells Quintus, go wait outside. Go wait outside. So he's sitting outside like a little ass boy while his dad is handling business. And it just goes to show you, like, Quintus was trying to move like a boss, but he wasn't the boss. He was just the manager. He was just managing the house while the boss was away, and the boss has returned. And so a boss only deals with the boss. So like, that's why Tullius and him are talking. And so what they come up to is Tullius decides, okay, I'll give young Vedius, I'll give him the Primus. Because we took the way we got the Primus, it wasn't the honorable way. You were offended. We took Varus away from you. You can have the Primus. In exchange, a clutch of our men will fight each other, I think midday. So like the next day in the little ass arena. So they're gonna fight each other. And so of course, Quintus is fucking pissed about that. He is livid and he is pissed about it. And so to give up the Primus, they'll just tell Varus that Gannicus is injured. And so that's how that situation is squashed. And of course, Quintus is pissed because think about it. Look what everybody had to go through to get that fucking Primus. And now to find out that all what Melita and Gannicus did, it was for nothing. It was for nothing. And speaking of those three, just the consequences of what happened to them the night before, particularly, of course, Gannicus and Melita. Now, Melita appears to be holding it together the most, like when these guys are all together. But Gannicus, he can't even look Emmaus in the eyes. And I love the conversations that they do in this show where someone could be saying one thing, but it's like it means something else to somebody else. Like, they do a great job with this. And so, like, man, they do, like I said, it's awesome. I love how they do it. But the thing about it is, Emmaus thinks it's because of his promotion to Doctori that he thinks Gannicus can't be around him or whatever. And, of course, Melita knows the true reason, but they can't speak of it. So it just sucks, man, because Emmaus is so honorable. And of course, he views Gannicus as a brother, not just a brother of the brand, but just a brother. Like, they're so tight or whatever. And so their relationship is suffering, and Emmaus just doesn't know what to do. But if he knew, oh boy. But also, one of my favorite scenes in the episode is when Titus greets Emmaus, and you see right then and there, and you see the look in Quintus's eyes, like how his father drops everything to Emmaus was his son. Not Quintus was his son by blood, but his true son is Emmaus. And I love the scene there where I love how he tells Emmaus, let's go to your room. Like, the intimateness of their conversation. I think I just made up a word, but the intimacy of their conversation, and how they're just talking as two men, like mentor and mentee, not Dominus and not slave or Doctori, just two men having a conversation. And you get tidbits of the history, like, and we see it in later seasons, how they met, but just the love he truly has for Emmaus. It's a beautiful thing. And, and how he gives Emmaus somewhat of confidence about taking the reins of Doctori. It's basically like how important it is and the love he has for him. He, there's nobody that he would feel could honor his house in that way. And so when you go after that scene, because Emmaus, he has bits of insecurity with the job, and you see it when he starts as Doctor. Like, we'll look at it this way. We all know Doctori from Blood and Sand. He's not that guy. He's not that guy. He doesn't instantly jump into the role. And I like that. He has to get comfortable and earn it because he's dealing with alpha males. He's dealing with a clutch of alpha males, and alphas only follow alphas, which is crazy to think about, that they just wouldn't fall in line with him because they just witnessed him take out the previous Doctori, and he's the only man to ever go up against Theocles, the Shadow of Death, and live to tell the tale. Now, but you see the insecurities in him, how insecure he is, and that energy comes off. And so the guys, they just don't respect it. Like they look at him and it's just like, oh, whatever, man. Like they're not respecting his authority. And so that's something Enemaeus is going to have to deal with, and he's going to have to be able to capture that voice. So I love how they didn't just start him off as the Doctori that we know, like he's that dude. No, he's got to earn it. And, be looking forward to see what he does to earn that. All right, so we talked about the revisiting of the delights, the intimate delights of the house Badiata. So what ends up happening is, and in this episode, I really started to hate Gaia because she keeps fucking talking about everything that happened the night before. She's talking about, like, they mentioned, like, oh, Gannicus is in rare form. I mean, I'm still trembling from his performance tonight with Melita standing right there. And I love how Lucretia told her, hey, we stop talking about that, but I really, really just didn't like her in this episode. I mean, I was like, man, be gone. Like, I love how not Quintus, but Titus, I love how she tried to walk up on him and be like, oh, years, you may not remember. He's like, nah, bitch, I remember you. Get the fuck away. Whore, be gone. Like, he gave her get this hoe away from me. Get her out of here. Get her out of my sight. And so, of course, Varys shows up unexpected. And, he's coming here. They're like, oh, my husband ain't here. He's at a meeting or whatever. He's like, no. I've been talking to Casudius. This nasty looking dude. But, he's like, I've been talking to my friend here, just talking about you guys' house and just the reputation. And they're thinking initially like, oh, go get Gannicus cleaned up. We'll put on a performance for you, this or that and the other. And they're like, no. Look, don't play the fucking babe in the roots. Don't play the babe in the woods routine with us. We talking about smashing Sodom and Gomorrah up in here. And so Varys immediately was like, he wants that round too. He points at Melita and she's like, oh, and luckily Lucretia's like, no. Well, you already seen, this one in action. Wouldn't you like to see someone that you haven't seen before? And I got to tell you guys, this shit was so difficult to fucking watch. It was just uncomfortable as hell. So not to mention, like I said, that the demon, he looked like a fucking demon, fucking Casudius. So they bring him in, and of course it's Navia and I'll have to put the name on the screen, guys. I'm sorry. Donia, I think that's her name. Donia. Oh my God, it was so rough. I mean, they had them take their clothes off, and it shows them like clutching hands, like a Thelma and Louise kind of situation. Like, oh no! And of course, he has to touch the goods to see which one. And like I said, it's difficult to watch, but ultimately he chooses Donia. And they bring in some dirty ass gladiator. I can't think of his name because he is in Blood and Sand. That gladiator. I don't think it's not Roxas. I can't think. I think it is. Maybe it is. I can't be for certain, but dude is dirty as hell. And they're like, well, do you want us to clean him up? No. This is just what I want. And of course he takes her to the back. And I mean, they smut her out, man, just savagely. And like I said, this dude, I'm sure the actor that plays him is a nice guy, but God damn, you look at him and you just like, this is an evil demon motherfucker. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, kudos to him. He sold the role, but it's just very, but they have their way with her. And when she comes up, because after it's over, because like Wyatt's going on, they got a curtain up. Lucretia is just uneasy about it. Once again, that bitch Gaia is just, it's nothing to her. She's talking to Varys like, and Lucretia's on edge. She's, you hear it. She's looking back and she's just worried because not only that, she's got to be like, God, these motherfuckers got to hurry up because if Titus comes home, it's going to be real bad. And so they finish, and after he comes out, Casudius, you see Navia, she's looking for her friend, and they make eye contact, and she just knows she's gone. She's gone. Like the girl she knew that went into that room died in that room. Unfortunately, she's gone. She's gone, and there's nothing she could do about it. Her friend is gone forever, and it's gotta hurt because that could have been you. That could have been Navia in that room, and so yeah, it just gotta hurt. But man, like I said, difficult scene to watch. All right, so to wrap this up, guys, like I said, Crixus gets his test, and not only is this a test for Crixus, this is a test for Quintus because Crixus is his man, you know. And the thing about it is, Tullius and them, they picked Crixus on purpose because, you know, they knew Crixus as just a carrier of fucking stones. And so to insult the injury, because Crixus at this time, he's not even a member of the Brotherhood. He's still a recruit. And so they figured to add insult to injury, we'll let your fucking recruit get killed too. Because Crixus is matched up against Octus. He's matched up against Octus, Barca's man. And, you know, he's been getting his ass whooped by Barca, and they both fight in the same style with the spear, kind of like a hot light, it's a hot light style, whatever. And so, you know, like I said, it's father versus son as well. Old school versus new school. Young lion versus old lion with being represented by Crixus and Octus. So we get down to the games and it's time, you know, and Crixus and Octus, they go at it. And you know, I would say the fight, it's not as one-sided starting out. You know, Octus is getting the best of Crixus, but Crixus is hanging in there. He cuts him a few times, but there's one point where Crixus gets down on the ground and Octus goes in with and jumps in the air with his javelin and stabs it through the shield. And when that happens, Crixus, he turns into blood and sand. Crixus, my man, lets out that you know how Crixus, man, that dude's got probably the best roar on the show, and he disables Octus's spirit. So now we got to even fight. And these guys, they're going at it. And eventually Crixus gets the best of him. He kills him. And you just see it all comes out, like everything Crixus hoped for, what he wanted. He just wanted to be a brotherhood. He wanted to be one of the brothers, be a gladiator, and it all happened in this moment. And so, of course, Quintus, he is through the roof, and he's happy as hell. So they return back to the Ludus. And so Titus tells him, like, yo, look, I underestimated you. I mean, I underestimated Crixus, and I underestimated my son as well, talking about you. And you know, Quintus is like, yeah, I get that, but you know, it's good to see, you know, essentially saying, you know, I'm doing things, I'm taking care of business. Well, you know, Dad, it's good to see you. I'm sure you'll be on your way. And he's like, on my way? I ain't going nowhere. So that victory of Crixus's ignited a spark into Titus that he thought had totally extinguished. Like he thought, yeah, I'm done, I'm checked out. But it reignited that fire in him. And then he's like, you know, we could be father and son. We could run this business together. And so, like, of course, this is not what Quintus wanted. This was not what he wanted at all. For his father to be here and him having to toil and be up under his father for another few more years until his father actually dies. So that's kind of like where the episode ends right there, guys. So yeah, I thought this was a good episode. You know, I gave it 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5. You know, just a little step under the last 2 episodes, but still a good episode. But yeah, that's it, guys. That's it. Before I get out of here, guys, like I always say, if it's for 1 minute, 5 minutes of the whole damn video, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to view my content. If you haven't already, and you're still here, and you haven't, like I said, hit that subscribe, smash the like, and get in the comments, guys. I need you guys to share this video and get in the comments, get it out in the algorithm. You know, get more people on here to see these Spartacus reviews. Like I said, I'm doing the whole universe. So like we starting here, Blood and Sand next. Who Vengeance? I mean, I'm gonna do it, but I know that's gonna be a rough one to get through because to me, Vengeance is the weakest of them. And then, of course, War of the Dam. Of course, I'm gonna do that one as well. So with that being said, everybody, it's your boy P signing off, and guys, I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.